Soul family, welcome back to another segment of my Chasing Love and Healing series. I received so much positive feedback from the very first part that I did for this series. I actually posted it on my TikTok. For those of you that are not following me on TikTok, it is KCBass Heals. Heals is Heals, all capital. There was at some point a few fake pages out there on TikTok. I can't always keep up with them, but you will know which one is mine. Okay, but I received so much positive feedback on the very first video of that, me talking about chasing and abandonment, that I thought it necessary. And actually, one of my friends had mentioned in the comments this should be a series. And I was thinking about that when I posted it. Even, I didn't say it out loud, but I was thinking it. She kind of confirmed it. And so it prompted me to kind of put everything in some sort of systematic order on how I would release the content and share my story. And it's not just me sharing my story, because I think sometimes, when we're just sharing stories, that can lend to trauma bonding. We don't want to do that. What I want to do is share the experience and the healing associated with it. My hope is that I give understanding to those that have gone through this or are moving through this right now. My hope is that you can learn to not keep repeating the same cycles. I repeated a lot of cycles in connections, in friendships, in relationships, in situationships, all of the ships. So I want to just keep kind of hammering at that abandonment part, because that can go a lot deeper than the 4 minutes that I talked about in the very first segment. I spoke about in the first segment about how I would chase because of the series of abandonment experiences I had growing up as a child. And so what it prompted me to do is have this fear of losing people. But what it also made me do is shrink. Did you hear what I said? I was shrinking so much I was almost invisible. I was muted so much you almost could not tell I was even in the room. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it was. And the one thing we must realize about abandonment is that it is deeper than just people leaving you. A fear is developed. All right. Abandonment is the action the person took. But at the core wound of that, there is a fear. And there is an anxiety that if I don't do something for people to stay in my life, I'm going to lose everybody. It is very deeply embedded. And even though I was an individual, as a child, I was groomed to be very independent, to kind of take care of myself, to kind of look out for myself, to make sure that I handled things that needed to be handled. I am the oldest of myself and my sister. And so it was just be responsible. You're the eldest, be responsible. Wasn't a lot of room for feeling and emotion. And I grew up in a very religious setting. Okay. So one thing that I always had present with me is this fear of people leaving. And it began to anchor itself in my heart and in my spirit, so much so that in my relationships, that it was always in the back of my mind. Maybe today will be the day. And I would always compare it to someone that had already left my life. Okay, you know, or someone that wasn't present, that needed to be present. Okay, I will always compare it to that. It would always be that. It would, every person I met would have to fall in the category of someone that had actually already left.